I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to Ozark City Hall. We're glad you're here for the Board of Aldermen meeting and engaging with your elected officials. Listening to perspectives of city residents, business owners, and other community members helps our elected leaders make more informed decisions. Before the meeting begins, let's review our rules of order. These ensure the meeting is orderly and efficient while allowing everyone who would like to speak an opportunity to do so. There are two opportunities for you to speak: during the agenda's scheduled visitor and guest portion of the meeting and during public discussion of new bills and resolutions. During the agenda's scheduled visitor and guest portion, anyone who signed up at the city clerk's office before 5 p.m. the Wednesday before the meeting can speak to aldermen about the topic they specified. Now, in the public discussion of new bills and resolutions, that allows you to give comments for aldermen to consider before they make a decision. The consent agenda bills are not open to comment. If you want to speak about an item on the consent agenda, you must sign up by noon the Friday before the meeting. You can do that by contacting the city clerk in writing or fill out a card in the council chambers before the meeting starts. Write down the specific bill and give the card to the city clerk before the consent agenda is set. That bill will then go to a first reading, which is open to public discussion, and anyone may speak about it. Anytime anyone is speaking, the following rules apply. First, only one person should speak at a time. Please be respectful of the person speaking and hold your comments until it's your turn. Second, anyone speaking must do so from the podium and speak into the microphone. Third, you must first provide your name and address in writing to the city clerk before beginning your comments. These forms are provided near the entrance. You also must state your name and address to the Board of Aldermen using the podium microphone. Fourth, all comments should be addressed to the mayor and aldermen. Finally, all speakers have 5 minutes to make their comments. The mayor or alderman may have additional questions for speakers after their 5-minute time limit. Occasionally, the board will invite someone to make a presentation at the meeting. This is only to give information to the board about a specific topic. These presenters will have no time limit on giving their information. This meeting will be live streamed and recorded with video and audio unless there are technical difficulties. The use of cell phones or other devices is discouraged during the meeting. Please silence your phones right now. Again, thank you for being here and engaging with the City of Ozark. The meeting will begin shortly.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Alderman Aiken.
Here.
Alderman Campbell.
Here.
Alderman Galloway.
Here.
Alderman Hutchinson.
Here.
Alderman Metcalf.
Here.
Alderman Snyder.
Here.
We have 6 aldermen present. We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We have just one set of minutes tonight for our consideration. That is from August 4th, our regular session. Is there any questions or comments regarding these minutes from the board? Not seeing. Is there a motion that we accept them as printed?
I move that we accept those minutes as printed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. 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 The motion is that we are to approve as printed the minutes from August 4th, 2025, the regular session minutes. That motion was made by Alderman Metcalf. It was seconded by Alderman Hutchinson. All in favor of voting on these minutes, do so by show of hands. And that does carry. There's no ceremonial matters tonight, but we do have 3 scheduled guests. We're going to begin first with Mr. Buddy Huggins.
Hello, everybody. My name's Buddy Huggins. I live at 1201 West Farmer Street. I'm a person with learning disabilities, dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia. I really need all the help I can get when it comes to the comprehensive annual report form. Y'all call it ACFR. The ACFR for 2023 is missing 8 pages. These pages are 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, and 22. These pages are very important, especially the one that has the net position, page 14. Without that position, net position, it matches what I did back in 2017. it showed the net position was $65.7 million. Now that is in, but most of it is in unattainable unless you sell it. So when we're looking at the overall picture of this, and you take in consideration that most people don't even ask these kind of questions, it's not about where the money is or how it's being used, but if it is drawing interest, I'd like to know. And according to the state law, it has to be by the June 30th of every year. And then there's another law portion in there that says it has to be made public to the public every 6 months by newspaper. That would help me in the community as I try to introduce this idea to people that we have the right to know where the money is. We have the right to ask these questions. And so I want to make sure everybody understands that if you do something, you need to understand it. That's why I have to go into deep dives into how this stuff works. And I use AI. And I've been using AI since 1997. I've been a beta tester for Google and many other companies. But as you dive into these things, you'll find out that there's a little bit more questions about this, a little more about that. And that gives us all transparency so we can know who has the information. Now, the other thing I want to bring up is the flock system. They've been putting up cameras. I noticed y'all must have voted it in, or somebody voted it in. It could be a good thing. It could be a really horrible thing. We got to all get together and deep dive it, not just put them up and say everything's good because you read the contract that the chief read. No, if you do a deep dive, you'll find out that it's tied to some nefarious people. Have you heard the word deep state? It's tied to people that don't have our best interest at heart. And it's being picked up all over the country in all kinds of small communities. We can police ourselves. We don't need that data going up on the cloud. When it goes on the cloud, it's there forever. They're making heat maps and tracking every vehicle. They don't even have to see the license plate to know the vehicle identity and heat map. I don't like it. And I want everybody else to try to show me why I need to like it. And if you can have a reasonable conversation and look at the data that I'm pulling out, you'll see that it's tied under a whole bunch of ways to Palantir. Data is the new currency. Money is worth $1's worth a nickel, and it's going even down. The thing that is worth money is our data. We can't just give it up. If you can do that, we have no rights, no Fifth Amendment, no Fourth Amendment, and we're getting down a slippery slope. So I want to speak about it in maybe the next two coming meetings, not the next one, but the next one, because I got to have at least 2 weeks to be able to really prove who you guys need to know who the deep state is. Because when you go to messing with that kind of entity, and they're doing it all across the country, it is not for good. It's selling our data, and then they use that to make us the enemy because we want to talk. And I'm going to use every second. I got 24 seconds. I was talking to the chief. I told him ain't nobody stealing nothing out of these city trucks. He said, "Oh, buddy, they are." I said, "Okay, well, if you got a data sheet, I want to see it. I have rights to ask for the data sheet of how many thieves we have, because I look in the back of these trucks when I'm riding at my bicycle and nobody's stealing." What's the truth?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Next on the agenda is Mr. Marshall Decker regarding the city's 24-24 financial audit.
Do I just have 5 minutes?
No, we asked you to come speak.
Okay, I could do it if I. Marshall Decker, the firm Decker and Good. Blake asked me to fill in tonight, since I've done this once or twice. You got a blue copy of the report there. I'll go through it. explain the opinion, go through the highlights of the financial statement, and kind of the format of the notes of the financial statements. You can stop me anytime you have a question. You can't throw me off. I've done this once or twice. So. 3 pages, the opinion pages, and it was a little bit longer this year because you had federal grants. So you end up with a couple more paragraphs. First 2 paragraphs what we call clean opinion. And it just says the financial statements included in the report are a fair, proper presentation of the city's financial position as of December 31st, 2024. Then basis, it has a 3rd paragraph, the italic words, government auditing standards, because you have federal grants, you call what we call.
Sir, are we on page 1 of the audit?
Page 1.
Yes, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
You have government auditing standards is because when you have federal grants, there's 3 levels and you got yellow book. That's why you see that. 2 paragraphs is your responsibilities. The bottom of page 1 starts our responsibilities. We recite that. We've always done that, but I don't know, 5 years ago, somebody decided to add more paragraphs. When I was a young man, we could do this opinion in 3 paragraphs, 1 page. Show you how it's changed. Required supplemental information, your MD&A letter, your budget actual, and loggers are in the back, and that's required. The bottom paragraph is opinion on the federal grants. Everything was fine. We've already submitted that to the Federal Clearinghouse, and it's been approved. So that's been taken care of. And then the paragraph on page 3 is the opinion on the internal control compliance, what I call yellow book, and it's in the back, and there's no findings, no problems there. The next several pages is what's called MD&A letter. That years ago, they decided that would make add clarity to the statements. I'm not sure it does, but it's required, so it's in there, okay? And it goes in some detail. The most interesting of that, on like general fund and parks, it breaks down what went up, what went down, the big changes. As far as the profits and loss statements, page 18, and the water sewer's in a different place from this because one's a proprietary fund, this is a governmental fund. So your general park and your capital improvements are called governmental funds. So the way it shows expenditures, capital improvements, debt service is different. But anyway, revenue is $14,904,109, expenditures $12,953,06, to the plus $1,953,803, transfers in and out, sale of assets to a net increase $2,488,978, brought you down to the year end $12,107,989. What you look for on financial statements is that ending balance would be at least half of your expenditures. That'd be $6.5 million. And to see if that's cash, you go back to page 16, which is your balance sheet. Balance sheet is a snapshot. That, as of December 31st, if you took a picture, that's where all your assets, liabilities, equities at on that day. And your first line, cash and cash equivalents, is cash that's not earmark tag or spoken for. And that's 11, on the general fund is 11,752,504. And we just said if you had 6.5 million, 3 to 6 months, you're in a good financial position. And there you have almost 11 months of cash on hand. So that's excellent, okay? I'm not supposed to say nice words like that to you. I'm supposed to frown, but that's a good place to be. Park, 6,210,267. Expenditures, 7,127,958. Decrease, 917,691. Transfers, mostly from the general fund, and capital improvement, showed net gain 74,959, brought it to 6,919,415. And park doesn't have that 3 to 6 months, but there on page 16, if you flip back, the cash in the park storm marshals 4,194,542, which is about 7 months. So that's good. Capital improvement, sales tax for capital outlay. Capital outlay is an asset that will last more than a year. So usually it's a big asset, big assets, cars, equipment like that. 1,190,081 expenditures, 1,050,050 decrease 140,000, or what brought increase 140,081. It shows the transfer because what was paid out of the capital outlay was for general water sewer, for capital assets there. So that's why you see that transfer. Ended 9/19/426. So all those look fine. The water and sewer fund, water sewers combined and solid waste is by itself. But instead of profit and loss, always, if I'm trying to look at this and make heads or sense, I like the statement of cash flow. And that statement of cash flow takes out bookkeeping entries, takes out depreciation, we go bean counter entries, okay? So it's really money in, money out. And the way to read that is if it's a positive number, it's a source of cash. If it's a negative number, it's a use of cash. And first line item there, first heading is cash from operations. Water sewer show cash from operations, $3,370,012, and solid waste, $173,232. You always want to see a positive number there. Occasionally, I give reports to cities, and the first thing out of the bat, they got a negative number. And that's usually indication for smaller towns. They spend a lot on water line repairs, and that drove them negative that year. You can do that 1 or 2 years, you can't do it forever. But you always want to see a positive number. And then it's non-capital activities, capital activities. Down in the middle there, net cash decrease in the waterworks and sewer was $3,965,236. That's because we had a big capital improvement, $7.3 million. And that's fine. That's, if I say, is there a reason it's okay? It's because you see a big capital improvement. You probably got the money last year, you're spending it this year. So it brought you down to $7,915,798. Your cash equivalents, it's cash again, not earmark tag or spoken for, $5.4 million. And your total expenditures is about $5.8 million. So you got, again, 10 or 11 months of cash on hand in the water sewer fund. That cash would always be at least 2 months because it rolls. Every 30 days, you bill it out, you collect it. So again, your cash positions are excellent there. After that, you have notes of financial statements. And the outline of that, it goes policy, cash, depreciation schedule, long-term debt. If anybody wants to know how much you owe and how long it's going to take you to pay it off, that schedule's in there. And basically that information is for bank bonding, anybody trying to rate you, they want to see all that information in there. Let's see. One that, had put in several years ago was on page 50 is the logger statement, and that's included in. Used to be that was the pension was outside your financial statements, and then several years ago they started including it in there. It wasn't because of Ozark; it's because of St. Louis, Chicago, people who haven't funded their pension plans and are upside down on them. So accounting-wise, they said to really show the worth of the city, you got to have that included. So on page 50, the way you read that is first column, pension liability. That's if everybody retired, that's how much money you need to have invested. Column B is what do you have invested. And the difference is column C. What's needed versus what's in is $1,992,452. But given loggers is good. They do actual assumptions, and each year they change a rate. And so, you're on scale to have enough money in there when people retire, when it's needed. Some towns have been in it so long, they're actually on the plus side. Not too often, but we do see it occasionally. But everything else, like I say, it's required is in there. Budget to actual, you're okay on that. That's always those pages are 55, 56 by state law. The budget has to be equal to or greater than the actual expenditures. It was. And then your page 58, 59 is schedules that are required for loggers. And then in the very back, there's a schedule for federal financial assistance. And that was your federal grants this last year, and everything was fine there. It was in compliance. Big issue there. Did you pay costs that were allowed by the grant? And all in all, look good. I'll give you one more year. See? But, cash, you're managing it well, and all the records were fine. Any questions you have?
You- Okay. I'm not saying from the board. Thank you for being here tonight.
If you're missing some pages, Holly, we always have backups of everything.
We'll discuss that tomorrow. We have agenda meeting. I made a note.
I'm sure you got it, but if you didn't, I always have it. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. And now we'll move to our third guest tonight. It's Mr. Richard Rice, sir. It's your time.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak with you tonight. My name is Richard Rice. My wife Betsy and I live at 809 East Stone Ridge Drive here in Ozark. We've lived there 23 years. We were one of the first residents of Stone Ridge. I've been retired a few years now. Betsy just retired from Ozark High School after teaching 20 years high school English. You are most familiar with our subdivision, Stone Ridge, because of the recent controversy surrounding Greenbridge Estates, our new neighbors. I'm not here tonight to speak with you about that. I'm here to address a long-term and ongoing problem with our streetlights. I had a whole different set of remarks ready to go the day that I applied to speak with you all 1 week ago today. Those remarks changed 24 hours later after I turned my application in. There have been 3 times since July 2nd, when I started this adventure, that I considered involving either my specific board members, Bruce Galloway and Jean Ann, or the entire board via this process. I was told on July 18th that a meeting with city administrator or my alderman would not expedite a resolution to my problem, so I didn't. Shame on me. I believe that the action I took last week by applying to get in front of you folks today, after I took that action, city administration and Liberty, I believe the action taken by Ozark City Administration and Liberty immediately following my application to appear proves otherwise. Within 48 hours, more was accomplished to fix our streetlights than had been in the previous 45 days. I have 2 regrets about coming before you tonight. First is I didn't do it soon enough. I wish I'd have done it right off the trailer July the 2nd. My second regret is, why in the world does a resident have to come before the Board of Aldermen to get their streetlights fixed? Bruce and Jean Ann, I want to thank you both because you were early helping me out in support of this. Bruce, on July 15th, you sent me an email that said, you as my alderman, you work for me and not the administration. I'm asking you to do so now. Although progress was made last week, and I'm now certain I have the full and undivided attention of both bureaucracies, we've not crossed the goal line yet. We still have 3 out of the 6 original lights not working, and we still have the entire light, pole and all, that has been in my neighbor's backyard for 10 years now. According to the latest from Liberty, a work order to reinstall that light was issued on August the 13th, pending parts. A work order to fix the other 3 was issued on August the 14th, pending parts. I've done the research. I know by part number what parts are required to fix those lights and how and where to buy them. Liberty Utilities might use a different wholesale supplier, but I would use Harry Cooper Supply in Springfield, Missouri, and the parts would be in my hands 5 business days after I placed the order. I'm asking tonight to have this matter resolved by September the 10th. September the 10th. Excluding weekends and Labor Day holiday, that gives Liberty 19 working days from the day they issued their work orders to get the job done. That represents 10 weeks or 2.5 months since I first reported these outages to Cameron Smith. Most of the actions I requested you take on my application to appear tonight are now moot. The only thing I'm asking this board to do tonight is oversee and follow up with city administration to make sure this happens by September 10th. There's no reason why it can't. I would ask you also revise the procedure for reporting outages. Residents should not have to go through the frustration of dealing with Liberty or come before the board in order to get their streetlights fixed. I would love to hear from any of you who have questions or feel my request is unreasonable. Wow, 22 seconds. And I won't use it up. How does this work? You all going to ask me any questions?
Yes, we have Alderman Snyder.
I beg your pardon?
Alderman Snyder has a question.
Gotcha. Hey, how do I know that the red light goes on? Or?
You know, first of all, I appreciate what you said. Streetlights have been a thorn in my side, and I've been a thorn in their side for a while. They have a term, squeaky wheel gets the grease.
I think I've heard that.
I think you've heard that before, right? It's an ongoing issue, and I hope to get some resolution for it. The problems you have is not isolated to your neighborhood. This is definitely citywide, but it does take someone such as yourself to come before this, and speak their voice, and I appreciate that. You have my word as an alderman here, representing the south side of the city of Ozark, that this will continue. And I'm pretty sure the rest of the board of aldermen here share my sentiments. I am not fond of their procedure. I never have been. And it has been for several years that it has been curbed because it was not a necessity for the city here. And that is beyond some of the reasoning that I can't even wrap my head around. But I appreciate you coming here and speaking your piece. And we spoke before you come in, and I'll tell everybody right now, welcome home.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you for coming tonight, sir. Okay. We'll now draw attention to our consent agenda for first and second readings to be held. And with this, we have 3 bills tonight that we are looking at. At this time, City Clerk, has anyone signed up to speak on any of these bills regarding this consent agenda tonight?
No one has signed up to speak.
Okay, thank you. Are there any 2 aldermen here tonight who wish for a bill to be removed from the consent agenda? Okay, I am not seeing any, so we next move our draw attention. Okay. I need a motion and a second to set the consent agenda.
Your Honor, I move that we set the consent agenda.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, okay. The motion is that we set the consent agenda regarding bills number 3680 through 3682. That was made by Alderman Galloway, second by Alderman Metcalf. All in favor, do so. All in favor, do so with show of hands. Sorry, I got tongue-tied. Okay, thank you. And that motion passed. Now we need a motion and a second to read the consent agenda for bill number 3680 through 3682 by title twice.
Your Honor, I move that we place on their first and second reading bill number 3680, 3681, 3682.
Is there a second by title twice?
Second.
Okay, I'm gonna go, okay. So all in favor to read bill number 3680 through 3682 on the consent agenda by title twice, do so with a raised hand. And that passes, no one's opposed. At this time now, they'll be read 2 times.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a supplemental program agreement with Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Southwest Missouri Engineering LLC doing business as Cochran Engineering for engineering services for street and sidewalk improvements on 21st Street and 22nd Street. And an ordinance authorizing the city to enter into and execute national opioid settlement agreements regarding 8 opioid manufacturers. I'll read all 3 a second time. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a supplemental program agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Southwest Missouri Engineering LLC, doing business as Cochran Engineering, for engineering services for street and sidewalk improvements on the 21st Street and 22nd Street. And an ordinance authorizing the city to enter into and execute national opioid settlement agreements regarding 8 opioid manufacturers.
Now we need a motion and second to approve Bill number 3681 through 3682 on the consent agenda to become ordinances 25-056 through 058.
Your Honor, I move that we enact bills number 3680 through 3682 as ordinance numbers 25-056 through 25-058.
Second.
Okay. There is a motion and a second for enacting these bills, and we need roll call, please.
Alderman Aiken,
Aye.
Alderman Snyder,
Aye.
Alderman Campbell,
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson,
Aye.
Alderman Galloway,
Aye.
Alderman Metcalf.
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes. All 3 bills are passed as ordinances.
Okay, thank you. There's no second readings tonight. We're now going to be moving to first readings, and these are formal public hearing bills. We will begin with bill number 3683.
Your Honor, I move that we place bill number 3683 on its first reading by title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we place bill number 3683 on its first reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Galloway, second by Alderman Campbell. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss bill 3683, do so by a show of hands. And that does carry.
An ordinance approving and setting the tax levy for the city of Ozark, Missouri for the 2025 tax year.
Okay, now the public hearing for bill number 3683 is now open. At this time, we have comments from our financial director, Mary Edna Wilson.
This is the annual tax levy that you all set every year. They did reduce the rate a little bit this year due to the increase in assessed valuation. It's a small amount, and in fact, it only equals about $21,000. That's how much more money we can get next year than we got this year. So those numbers are set by the state auditor's office, and we are asking that it be expedited because they only get that information to us at a certain time, and we have to have it to the collector by a certain time. So that is the reason for that expedited. Any questions?
Okay. Yes, Alderman Hutcherson.
I'm sorry, I just looked away.
Oh, okay. Any questions for our director? Okay, thank you. At this time, anyone from the public wish to speak for bill number 3683? This is your time to speak for.
I want to speak for it, but
State your name again, please.
Buddy Huggins. I'm a YouTuber. I want to speak for it, but I can't understand it. Being a person with learning disabilities, dyslexia, dyscalculia, is there any way we can get together and somebody come up with a way to teach me what she just showed, y'all talking about? If I could figure it out, I could analyze it. But as it is, I can't. So I'd like to be for it.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, we're happy to meet with Mr. Huggins, and I believe Mary Edna has met perhaps with him in the past. We will make sure that happens again, and we'll answer whatever questions he has, and we'll go over that information.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay. Anyone else would speak for regarding bill 3683? Okay, I'm not seeing movement. Anyone here would speak against bill 3683? This is your time. I'm not seeing movement. Any final comments from the board? Okay, not seeing. The final hearing, the public hearing for bill number 3683 is now closed. As it says, it's been requested for this to be expedited tonight because of time frame.
Your Honor, I move that we place Bill 3683 on its second reading by title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is to place bill number 3683 on second reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Galloway, second by Alderman Aiken. All in favor of voting on this motion to discuss bill 3683, do so by show of hands. And that does carry.
An ordinance approving and setting the tax levy for the city of Ozark, Missouri for the 2025 tax year.
Any additional comments from our director or questions for her? Okay, I'm not seeing any, so
Your Honor, I move that we enact Bill number 3683 as ordinance number 25-059.
do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we enact bill number 3683 to become ordinance 25-059. That motion was made by Alderman Galloway, second by Alderman Aiken. Roll call, please.
Alderman Campbell,
Aye.
Alderman Metcalf,
Aye.
Alderman Aiken,
Aye.
Alderman Snyder,
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson,
Aye.
Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll draw attention to bill number 3684.
Yes, Your Honor, I move that we place bill number 3684 on its first reading by title and brief description only.
And is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, the motion is that we place bill number 3684 on its first reading by title only, and that motion was made by Alderman Metcalf. It was seconded by Alderman Snyder. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss bill 3684, do so by show of hands, and that does carry.
An ordinance of the city of Ozark, Missouri, amending the zoning code and official map by changing the zoning classification of Lot 6 of Collins Point subdivision.
Okay, at this time, the public hearing for bill number 3684 is now open. This time, our director, Randall Whitman, is coming.
Good evening. These last two bills on the agenda represent zoning amendments, both of which were submitted together. They're adjacent to one another, and they're most likely be developed together. So the reports I'm going to present them at the same time, recognizing that there's 2 public hearings, 2 votes, and 2 ordinances. So with that, in the interest of time, I don't want to repeat myself, but so the first amendment is for Lot 6 in the Collins Point subdivision. It's shown here in dark green. It's zoned C2, general commercial. This lot was zoned from R3 to C2 in December of 2023. So if you think you've seen this before, you have. So this is in essence reversing that zoning decision from before. So the second proposed amendment is on Lot 7, which is the lot on the south side and shown in bright green. This tract is zoned general agriculture. Both of these tracts have frontage on 15th Street. So if you're not familiar with that, that's just south of Rosie Joe's. And as the bill says in the Collins Point subdivision, Rosie Joe's is in the Collins Point Center, across from the Collins Point apartments. So if you're not familiar with that is, it's all on 15th Street. So. Am I doing something wrong? There we go. So each of these requests represent total rezoning approximately 4 acres of property, again, from general commercial and general agriculture to R3 medium density multifamily. Lot 6 is about 1.7 acres. Lot 7 on the south is about 2.3 acres. So as you're kind of accustomed to, these are the 5 factors the Planning and Zoning Commission are charged with when they consider making recommendations on zoning amendments. So they look at how the properties are currently zoned, how are the properties in the area used, how are the properties themselves used, what guidance is offered from the comprehensive plan, what development trends in the area, if any, should be considered, and lastly, is R3 zoning in this case appropriate for these properties? So with respect to R3 zoning requirements, single family, 2 family and apartments at a density of about, I think I've got a slide off there, I'm sorry, the property to the north, I should go over the zoning. The property to the north is zone C2. That's again where the restaurant is located. The property to the west was recently zoned to general mixed use. That's where the Assemblies of God Church is and the proposed Seven Brew Coffee Shop. Again, the property to the east across 15th Street is zoned R4, so that's high density multifamily. The property south of the lot 7 is also zoned R4, high density multifamily, and it's used. There are a series of duplexes there, I think, on Rainey Street. The property again to the west is largely undeveloped. So the comprehensive plan makes numerous recommendations. So with respect to this property, it does support and recommends multifamily zoning. It really doesn't go into a density recommendation, but it supports diverse housing for a variety of residents, specifically with different lifestyles. And of course, the plan makes recommendations about how to meet that through affordability, different building types, and other multifamily design guidelines. As I said earlier, the properties to the east and south are already developed with non-single family housing, apartments to the east and duplexes to the south. So this is a trend in the area. Aside from zoning and use, the plan recommends a trail connection from 15th Street to the west for a future extension to 17th Street on the west side of the church. And there is some references to a traffic study making a road connection desirable from 15th Street over to 17th Street as well.
Randall, before you move to the next screen, could I ask you a question about the prior screen?
Yes, sir.
You had said on the comprehensive plan, I couldn't quite follow what you were saying. It endorses.
I've really messed you up now because I've messed myself up. What happened there? I was trying to get to the screen you were talking about. I'm sorry.
No, you're. The comprehensive plan supports zoning and use for housing, but I thought I heard you say not really of that density, or did I miss that? Or
it doesn't really go into the density. Yeah, it doesn't say high density, medium density. It just basically says multifamily.
Okay. And what does R3 do for the land? Changing it over to R3, what does that do for the land?
It basically is a medium density multifamily. So it gets them up to 17.4 dwelling units to the acre, as opposed to what high density I think is in the 20s. I can't remember exactly.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. I think I covered everything here. Is it messing up? Okay, go back one slide there you go. So kind of looking ahead with respect to how the property could be developed, water and sewer utilities are available. They're adjacent to the site on 15th Street. You can see from these big yellow blobs there's some topography issues or suspected or potential topography issues. So, and I say that because we had somebody recognize that this zoning proposal was at the Planning and Zoning Commission. They called us and said that this may not be a sinkhole. So we need to do a little further investigation possibly. They own some properties near this and they said they had a similar situation, did a little more research and realized it was an old lead mine. It was a hand dug lead mine from way back when, who knows when, but it wasn't a sinkhole. So sinkholes are pretty common in the Ozarks. It's a good chance it could be. We would recognize it as a sinkhole and they would have to prove otherwise. So that's how development would move forward with this. So final use and configuration of the property for multifamily. Again, it allows, I think I said 17.4. It actually allows, yes, 17.4 dwelling units per acre. So if you do the math, mathematically, 4 lots, that could yield about 70 units. Obviously, that's probably not possible given the setbacks, the fact that you can only have 8 dwelling units in a building in an R3 district. You've got to have stormwater detention, parking, there's buffer yard requirements. There's a lot of other things that the site demands. So density will just have to be determined once they submit a development plan. There is, again, buffer yard required on the north side of the property adjacent to C2 and on the south side of the property as well. And on the west side, and that wouldn't be required until the time of development. The Planning and Zoning Commission did not have any objections to the public hearing held on July 28th. Staff and the commission both recommend approval. I'll be glad to answer any questions or go back a slide or two, whatever you'd like.
I want clarification. At the beginning, you said you're going to present both bills at the same time. Is that, do I understand correctly?
Yeah, it's basically the same presentation, so I didn't want to stand here and repeat myself twice. So
Okay.
there's a,
Let me ask a quick clarification question. Oh, sorry. We still will vote on each one separately.
yes,
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, he
And
just
there will
pressed-
still be a short presentation, I assume. for the
Okay,
second vote.
okay. I understand. I just want clarification on that. Any questions for our director regarding? Yes, sir.
Were there any comments at the public hearing? I don't know if you said, or was there even anybody?
there was no objections. The applicant spoke, obviously, and I think they're here tonight, but no, there were no objections.
Okay.
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
So R3 allows for the 17.4 dwelling units per acre. Are you saying that if the applicant were to consolidate the lots, basically that would increase the total acreage? And then thus they could, it doesn't increase the area that's not covered by that sinkhole, but it could increase the density of the dwellings that they build on the developable land, if that makes sense. I don't know if I formulated that quite how I.
It's okay. It's kind of tough to answer.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough to say or articulate. If they were to combine the lots, we would look at it as a 4-acre parcel, and 17, they would get to transfer the density or move the density across the entire 4 acres. They'll probably want to develop the most developable part of the property where the sinkholes aren't at, where the sidewalks and trails aren't, where there's setbacks and buffer yards. So, yes, it's not. It wouldn't be based on just lot 6 and lot 7. At that point, it would become a tract that's 4 acres in total. And like I said, if you do the math, it equates to building 70 units, well, it's just not possible, given the density requirements, the setbacks and everything.
So there'd be practical limitations that would
That's
limit
exactly
you
right. Yes.
before you got to whatever the theoretical limitation was allowed by the ordinance.
Yeah, and one of those is that in the R3 district, you can't have more than 8 units in a building. So
Right.
that alone would limit how many buildings you could have, or how many units you could have by building type.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Alderman Galloway.
And reviewing the report that accompanies this or has made part of it, it does appear that the Onward Ozark Corridor Plan, which was adopted by the Planning and Zoning Commission, also has identified this property as for multifamily use.
I think when I looked at it, the actual future land use doesn't go this far south.
Oh.
It pretty much kind of just targets the frontage. Practical planning supports the notion of higher intensities on major roadways, and you kind of do a step-down approach. So you'd have a commercial or more intense use on the frontage, stepping back to a less intense use, so multifamily, and as you move further away, it'd probably be single-family, agricultural, or even less intense use.
I misread it. It said it identified property to the northeast of this site as future use. So I guess that report is suggesting that this would be consistent with the nearby site that was identified by the corridor plan for multifamily.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for our director? Okay, thank you. At this time, anyone from the public wish to speak for Bill number 3684? This is your time now. Okay.
Good evening. My name is John Torgerson, Senior Principal with Torgerson Design Partners. It's 116 North 2nd Avenue, Ozark. It's good to be back. Thank you for allowing me to speak on this. Just a little history first. Many of you know, we've owned this property for some time, attempted development. We did work with some previous developers that had some ideas of some light commercial that far south of South Street. And it's just not shaped with the potential drainage and topography and sinkholes. It just doesn't really qualify for that. Pushing that far back from south is just tough. That's South Street is just a tough corridor, as you guys know. So after some research, we have a developer that would like to do both the lots. So recently we have sold the lot just south of Rosie Joe's. That is remaining as C2. There is some development plans there. So that's exciting to see that built out there. The same developer would like to take these lots 6 and 7 and put them back into the residential zoning. So our first step is we met with staff, investigated the potential, and I think looking at, the plans of the city, the future use and those kind of things, neighboring, it just made sense to go back to R3. I kind of regretted saying, okay, we just went and moved that to C2. Now we're going backwards. But looking now, I think that is the right decision. We do have more of a low density plan for that just because of the shape. That would be probably 1- and 2-story patio homes, duplexes, maybe triplexes, something in that shape that match more of that row house look. So that's what we have planned there. And that's what we went in front of P&Z. We didn't have anybody attend the neighborhood meetings. We posted those in our office. There was no opposition for that. There was no opposition at planning and zoning. So I do believe that just from a public view and a use, that is the right choice. So tonight we're here to ask for that zoning change to go back to what it was. And I'm also asking that if we could expedite that tonight. We've got a pending closing, and with the holidays, that pushes us out behind that. So if possible, because of the no opposition and the staff recommendation, we would like to ask that be expedited. Happy to answer questions. We do have a representative for the developer here tonight also, and he can answer questions that you may have also.
Okay. Any questions? Yes, Alderman Snyder.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you coming. If by chance this is approved, is there a projected completion time for any project there? Just out of curiosity.
The only thing I know is as soon as possible. We are actually working on the design for the commercial part right there behind Rosie Joe's. The developer has waited until this passes before they turn us loose, but they already have our contracts, and I was told as quick as we can move on it. So that means they're going to be waiting on us because we'll have to get that in our schedule, but very, very quick.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, Alderman Campbell.
My initial thought before I studied this afternoon was to kind of lean toward why we're expediting it, but it's pretty clear to me it's a no-brainer to put it back where you're wanting to put it. So I don't see any reason not to expedite it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
I wouldn't mind talking to the representative of the developer.
Okay.
Good evening. My name's Jeff Hammonds. I represent Enterprise Land Development out of Springfield. Mike Cronkite is the owner of that company. Questions?
I did. Why does this need to be expedited?
We're ready to go. We're looking, I don't know if you guys know Cronkite Homes. I'm sure you do. He's been here for years. He sold his business a little over a year ago, and we are now, he cannot, with his no compete, can't build single family homes, but he can build multifamily units. And so we're ready to move forward and get into that business.
And I had another question. It's been mentioned that the property behind Rosie Joe's is zoned commercial and that the developer in question here has that land as well.
Correct.
And is there a plan as to when that would be developed? Is that going to be developed concurrently or?
Absolutely. That'll actually probably have to go first because it's already zoned appropriately for what we want to do with it. We're just waiting for him to get his stuff done so we can break ground, get permits and move forward.
Well, please convey at least my appreciation for the developer that you represent's interest in the city of Ozark.
Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Yeah. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anyone else here who would speak for bill number 3684? Okay, I'm not seeing movement. Anyone here who would speak against bill 3684? This is now your time. Okay, I'm not seeing movement. Any final comments from the board? Okay, at this time, the public hearing for bill number 3684 is now closed. As it's been stated that he wished for this to be expedited tonight.
Yeah, Your Honor, I make a motion that we adopt bill number 3684. Oh, I actually make a motion that we read bill number 3684 for a second reading by brief description. Thank you.
Yes, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion is that we read bill number 3684 on second reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Metcalf. It was seconded by Alderman Hutchinson. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss bill 3684, do so by show of hands. Okay, anyone opposed? Okay, Amanda.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, amending the zoning code and official map by changing the zoning classification of Lot 6 of Collins Point subdivision.
Any additional comments from Director Whitman? No. Any questions for our Director? I'm not seeing further questions.
Your Honor, I make a motion that we adopt bill number 3684 as ordinance number 25-060.
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we adopt bill number 3684 to become ordinance 25-060. That motion was made by Alderman Metcalf. It was seconded by Alderman Campbell. Roll call, please.
Alderman Galloway,
Aye.
Alderman Metcalf,
Aye.
Alderman Snyder,
Aye.
Alderman Aiken,
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson. Aye. Alderman Campbell.
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Okay, now we'll draw attention now to bill number 3685.
Yep, Your Honor, I move that we place bill number 3685 on its first reading by title and brief description only.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we place bill number 3685 on its first reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Metcalf. It was seconded by Alderman Snyder. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss bill 3685, do so by show of hands. And that does carry.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, amending the zoning code and official map by changing the zoning classification of Lot 7 of Collins Point subdivision.
Okay. This time, the public hearing for bill number 3685 is now open. Welcome back, Director Whitman.
I hope now you understand why I didn't want to make 2 presentations, so.
Oh, no, we want you to do it again.
You want to do it again? Yeah, maybe I won't stumble or break the computer this time. This is a similar zoning case. The difference being this is a 2.3 acre tract of property. It's zoned general agriculture. And again, they've made an application to rezone it to R3. I have no new information to share, but be glad to answer any questions that we didn't previously cover.
Any questions for our director? Okay, I am not seeing any. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, at this time, anyone from the public who wishes to speak for bill number 3685, this is your time. Okay, I'm not seeing movement. Anyone here who speak against bill 3685? Okay. Now, question, on clarification, was you wishing for both bills to be expedited since the same? Okay, well, I just want the clarification. I thought that what you meant when you was up the first time. Okay, so any final comments from the board? Yes.
I just wanted to explain my vote. I tend to give preference to planning and zoning's recommendation. I will at times vote against it if there is a reason that I can articulate that I think overcomes that preference. The other thing that I will often look at is the comprehensive plan and whether the proposal is consistent with what is stated in the comprehensive plan. And then finally, I look at the corridor plan. Although the property wasn't mentioned directly in the corridor plan, it was pointed out by city staff that there's a plot or land nearby that was recommended to be multifamily. It's also important to me by way of background that this property was to be developed concurrently with commercial property nearby. And that tells me that truly the use of the two properties that we're voting on is the best use. Multifamily, you have the same developer looking at that property. They're all in the same area, trying to sort out what would work best. He made a decision for commercial property on one that he already owned across the way, and these two for residents. So that gives me some confidence that this is the best use. I just wanted to explain.
Okay. Any board comments? Could not see any at this time. The public hearing for bill number 3685 is now closed. As stated, the wish was for this to be expedited tonight.
Yes, Your Honor, I move that we place bill number 3685 on its second reading by title and brief description only.
Do we have a second?
Second.
The motion is that we place bill number 3685 on second reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Metcalf. It was seconded by Alderman Galloway. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss bill 3685, do so by show of hands. Okay, any opposed? Okay, but it does pass.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, amending the zoning code and official map by changing the zoning classification of Lot 7 of Collins Point subdivision.
Any other comments, Director? Any questions for him from the board? I'm not seeing any, so.
Your Honor, I make a motion that we adopt bill number 3685 as ordinance number 25-061.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we adopt bill 3685 to become ordinance 25-061. That motion was made by Alderman Metcalf. It was seconded by Alderman Campbell. Roll call, please.
Alderman Snyder?
Aye.
Alderman Campbell?
Aye.
Alderman Galloway?
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson?
Aye.
Alderman Aiken?
Aye.
Alderman Metcalf?
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Thank you. There's no new bills tonight, and there's no resolutions. At this time, we're going to move on to reports, beginning with our City Administrator, Eric Johnson.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. I'd like to begin my comments tonight by thanking Finance Director Mary Edna and her team, some of which are here tonight, for their very good work with the 2024 financial audit. There is a tremendous amount of work that goes into that financial audit, and Mr. Marshall did a fine job presenting that comprehensively in 15 minutes or less. We are in good shape, as he pointed out, and we will continue to work on our processes and with regard to budget and our quarterly financial reporting. Today, I was happy to review a budget calendar. So for all of our department heads and directors, they will soon be kicking off our budget process. And before you know it, it'll be November, and we will be before you talking about budget priorities, which transitions to my comments about this Thursday. We do have a non-legislative work session this Thursday starting at 11:30 and scheduled to go until 1:30, and we will be talking about our capital improvement program and our budgeting priorities. So I'll look forward to that input and your feedback for Thursday morning. That concludes my comments.
Any questions for our city administrator? I'm not seeing any. Okay, we now move back to, I know Randall wants to come back to talk to us again for planning and development.
I don't have anything to add to my report, but I would be glad to answer any questions about any pending development. This is a July report, so there's some things that a little bit overlap or behind, but.
Okay. Well, on the second page, Arkstall Electric on 21st Street, is that just a new building? It's just a project under construction.
Yeah, you asked a good one. I can't really tell you what that is. Maybe an infill.
Okay. No, I wasn't, sorry, I was trying to stump you. I just said, okay.
There's, I'm sorry, what?
We'll talk. I'll ask you tomorrow.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
I looked over everything and thought I knew and answered every question you'd throw at me, Buffalo Wild Wings or McDonald's or Burger King, and then you hit me with that, so.
Okay.
Usually restaurants, so no, I wasn't prepared for it.
Okay. Any questions for our director? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And then now we'll move to Hayden for the OC and Park Board.
Good evening. I'm happy to answer any questions about our written report. The only thing I would like to point out is something that's not contained in the report. Not this coming Thursday, but the following Thursday, we will be having a retirement party of sorts for Phil Montgomery, and I like to point that out. He has given this community 40 years of service in the field of sports, some of that for the city of Ozark, and before that, the Ozark School District. So he is retiring. We're lucky to have him. We've learned a lot from him, but we want to celebrate him as he moves on to well-earned retirement. Beyond that, ultimately, the report has a lot of stuff beyond.
Do you have the date and time again for his?
It'll be August 28th and I'm going to look at Ben, I believe 4 to 6 at the OC. And we will be sending out an email for that one as well.
Okay.
And so that'll be the biggest one there.
Any questions for?
Yeah.
Yes, I think.
Sorry.
I went with Alderman Metcalf first.
Okay. I just want to thank you for the response on getting the lights replaced at the softball field. It was less than a week turnaround on a light request, so very well. Good job. Thank you for that.
Truthfully, I want to give a shout out to my maintenance team because they were out there with the bucket truck making that magic happen. I do not like heights, so I have to give them a lot of credit for that.
Okay.
Would your Parks and Recreation team want to train Liberty on light changes?
I can make that request.
Okay.
I think they'll do a good job.
I attended the event over at the OC that was run by the vendor that's doing our survey. I did talk to people at the event, and then days later, as I ran into people who told me they'd been at the event, and the feedback that was provided to me was overwhelmingly positive, which was also what I thought. What were your thoughts?
So I was extraordinarily happy with the turnout. Of course, at that initial park planning meeting, they unveiled concepts for the Garrison Springs site plan. So we approved 2 different projects. One was a site-specific plan for Garrison Springs, which should wrap up in October. I was very excited about those, but for the greater parks plan, I was very excited as well. Very excited. I was very excited as well because there was a lot of people there, and it kicks off that public feedback. There will be more meetings in November as they kind of take the online portion. There was an initial online survey, which our communications team has already gotten online, but ultimately there will be emailed out surveys. There will be a lot of chances for feedback, and to see just the passion people have for their parks. I think there is some resounding themes, and I don't want to talk themes yet because we're very early in the process, but it is nice to see that as a city, we do have, I think, some common direction, some common wants. And as we start to see some of the demographical information and some of the city-specific information, it is neat to see a good direction outlined for our department over the next decade. So,
Thank you.
Yes, Alderman Campbell, you're next, sir.
Is there currently a Master Swim Club program at the OC?
Are you identifying like a swim team?
Not a swim team. It's, I think Masters is a good way of saying older people.
Oh. There is not at this time.
We had one at one time. I don't know. That might have been before.
I don't know that I'm personally familiar, but that's something I can talk to our aquatics team. I would say that our older population connects and engages with that pool. Our water aerobics classes have 50 to 60 people at a time. They'll fill that lap pool, and so to find I've never heard of a master swim team. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
To find a program like that,
It's not really a team. It's just where you train for swimming.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No,
It's like in a lap pool.
I think you see a lot of interest. We have our 50, 100, and 150 mile club that people can participate in over the year. I think the way adults connect with the pool is different than the splash pads and the play structures, but providing more of those recreational opportunities is always a possibility. But at this time, we do not have anything like that.
Okay.
But I'm happy to take that back to the aquatics team.
Okay. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay. Any other questions for our director? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, any final comments from our board? Yes, Alderman Snyder.
Actually, I have a question, maybe directed toward the city manager. Do we have any update on any type of renovation proposals for the water tower at Fifth and Oak? Yes.
So that is a subject that has been discussed recently, and there is not a comprehensive update to give you, but it is certainly something that we could bring back to the board at a non-legislative work session and provide the board with a comprehensive update. We can talk to you about our capital needs and our capital planning and what that particular structure would require and what would be entailed in its renovation. Happy to do that.
Gotcha. I appreciate that. The question was asked, and I told him I would ask.
And our Public Works Director is taking really good notes right now.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay. Just as you know, a lot of great things are happening right now in the city of Ozark. Aldi, you see the metal work coming up. You see the Chadwick Flyer Bridge, the ramp work being taken place on that. And plus, well, I mean, just even the Cox Health Specialty Rehab Center, the work's going on there. And plus also, I mean, I know 65 is not, it's MoDOT, but I mean, it's coming along, and I'm looking forward to when that is completed this fall. But like I said, just a lot of exciting things are happening in the city and things coming up. Yes, sir.
Just one thing I'd like to talk about on Highway 65. If you travel across any interstate in the United States, I'm going to say most of the time, that might not be accurate, but everything gets bottled down to one lane. It's like they work on this bridge, so they close that bridge down, and you only have one lane going north and one lane going south or east and west, whatever it might be. That hadn't happened really on Highway 65 that I've picked up on. We've had two lanes, they're narrow, and you're kind of going across storm drains if you're in the fast lane sometimes. But I think that's a positive that that we did not have to go down to single lanes.
Well, after 10 o'clock, I found out it's single lane.
Okay. Well, I'm not up that late,
yeah,
so
yeah.
we're good.
But no, you're right. For the daytime, they haven't done that. And that's wonderful to keep the traffic moving. So, Anyone else? Okay, if not, is there a motion we adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn this session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, okay, there's a motion for adjournment that was made by Alderman Snyder. It was seconded by Alderman Campbell. All in favor on the motion for adjournment, do so by show of hands. And it does carry. And we are adjourned.